On the 21st of August, for the first time in almost 4 decades, the United States will see a total eclipse passing all the way across the country. If you imagine a plane that all of the planets are in, we call that the ecliptic, and the moon is tilted 5 degrees from that. So the only time it's possible to have a solar eclipse where the moon passes between the Earth and the sun is when those two planes intersect and when the moon comes across the plane of the ecliptic. And so if the moon were exactly in the same plane as the Earth-Sun motion, we would see a total eclipse every month. But because it's not, it becomes a very rare event. The path of totality is only about 160 kilometers wide, but the Earth is quite large relative to that. It's about 6,700 kilometers in radius. So that means that it's a very small percentage of area that's getting covered up. In fact, on average, it takes about once every 400 years before the place where you're standing will see a total solar eclipse. So the fact that this is happening at all anywhere near Richmond is really rare. And so the fact that we're even getting a partial eclipse is something that we should be excited about. One thing that's really interesting that'll happen is if it's a sunny day, which we're all hoping for, you'll notice that it gets cooler. That's because a lot of the reason why you feel warmth in the sun is the photons of the sun are actually hitting your body. But if 90% of them are getting knocked out by the fact that this moon is in the way, you're just gonna literally feel cooler for a few minutes. And that's something that almost never happens, and that's a reason to get outside and witness this. Here in Richmond, Indiana, we're gonna see an eclipse that begins at 1 p.m. on the 21st. The moon will start to move in front of the sun, and slowly it will get dimmer outside. And then at 2:27 p.m. precisely, we'll reach the moment when most of the sun is blocked out. In fact, 91% of the light is going to be blocked out here where we are. And then it will take until 3:50 p.m. when we return to normal daylight conditions. Because we are about 300 miles away from the path of totality, and because a total eclipse is really a qualitatively different thing than a partial eclipse, I'm actually leading a trip for Earlham students and other professors and people in the community to go south, and hopefully we're going to find our way into the path of totality on the 21st and be able to witness this excellent celestial phenomenon. We're going to see 90% of an eclipse here in Richmond, and that sounds pretty great. And in many ways it is. And you might think of other things in your life, like a free throw shooter. A 91% free throw shooter is fantastic. But it's actually qualitatively really different from a total eclipse. And the reason why is that you're still seeing that 10% of the sun. And 10% of the sun, to give you an idea, is 40,000 times brighter than a full moon. And if you've ever seen a full moon on a clear night, it actually really dominates the night sky.